I am here today to bring you the latest updates on next year's FLL season, Submerged. We just got this board reveal yesterday, so I hope you enjoy. I was initially going to do this video yesterday, but I was a little busy. So anyway, let's dive right in. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the first LEGO Education 2025-2026 season. The first thing we're seeing is what looks like an ancient map being uncovered from the sand, showing us the FLL Unearthed logo. It's a compass rose with a set of binoculars, a flag, an X for marking the spot of treasure, and then the fourth symbol is what really looks interesting because it could be one of a few things. My first theory is that this symbol is a sextant. My second guess is that this is the planet Saturn. That makes a bit less sense. Moving on, as the logo fades away, we see our first lines being uncovered from the board. And what's interesting about this board is it looks like there aren't too many lines. However, we are continuing to use that dual home format, which honestly, I'm not that disappointed about. I think it's very fun to see how teams are able to creatively move from one side of the field to the other while trying to maximize their missions. However, the limited number of lines is really interesting to me because we've been seeing fewer and fewer ways for teams to use the light centers, and the lines are in very similar spots to FLL Submerged. However, line squaring looks like it's something that's very much being pushed here with these horizontal lines right in front of critical missions. So we're going to have to see how teams end up using sensors with that. From this point on, it's all just close-up shots of missions, different activation methods, all that. Not too important for us to be taking a look at just because we can't really get that much information out of it. We see a minecart style ride, straight out of Indiana Jones, and it looks like that's part of the shared mission, which we'll be getting a better look at in a moment. Right here, we see what looks like a section of Earth being dragged off potentially a dig site, and here we see a full-on shot of the field with missions popping in slowly. We see over in this right corner a ichthyosaurus skeleton potentially. I don't know, the resolution is kind of low on my computer screen, but it looks like it's buried in either like a rocky cliff or it's potentially being sent to a museum. Not 100% sure there. So this isn't just about archaeology, it's also potentially about paleontology. And here we see our shared mission right in the middle of the field. And there's one on either side. But what makes this different than most shared missions is it looks like there's activations on both sides. In previous years, like the helicopter from Cargo Connect, you could do one thing on your side, but you'd be reliant on the other team for something on the other side. Here we're seeing that there's kind of a little lever that can be knocked down on the right side here, and there's something that can be pushed up to probably send this minecart rolling on the left side. This could potentially be a very different shared mission than we've seen in the past. We see more missions popping in. Unfortunately, we can't get great views of them. Right here in the bottom, we've got a crane, which appears to be lifting a treasure chest. It's kind of in the same spot as the boat from last year, because these boards are looking very similar to one another, which is kind of one of the problems with a dual home format, because you can only utilize 2 of the corners rather than 3 of the corners. As you could in past years, you have less field space to work with, so the designers are pushed for space. Right here, we see that minecart rolling down the ramp that we were just talking about, showing that this is potentially a shared mission that involves both sides, which I think is very cool. Last season's kind of did, but in the end it was just a competition down to the wire to see who could get that submersible straight to the center fastest. But right here is the most important part of this entire reveal. We see the iconic burp Lego piece. That stands for Big Ugly Rock Piece, for those of you who aren't in the know. Significantly less important than the FLL chicken. I'm just gonna say that. I would rather have it be the FLL chicken, but it is pretty fun to have a burp in there. A Lego mission with boulders rolling down the field. This mission is gonna be interesting because it could potentially involve teams risking hazards on the field, like those boulders, with points. So it's gonna be a big cost-benefit analysis. Do you wanna potentially have your robot mess up a run because of a mission you solved earlier and lose more points? Or do you want to get those easy points from that boulder mission? So this is going to involve a lot of strategizing from the teams. We see something get fired out of that mission. So, hey, projectile Legos, that's always kind of fun to watch. It's all more close-up shots, but right here we get another wide-angle view of the field, showing us the board in almost its full glory, not entirely. Right here we see a flag get pushed from one site to the other. This mechanic could have a few different ways it works. I'm thinking, given the sandy tone of the piece being pushed around and the big flag sticking out, kind of a marker for archaeological activity. We'll have to wait and see, but it could potentially have something to do with if you have the flag in the right spot, other missions on another part of the field score more points. If you don't, you can still score points for that mission, but if you spend the time putting the flag somewhere else, you could score more there. And with that, the video concludes. So this teaser video is going to lead to a lot of strategizing from FLL teams. If you're wondering how your team can improve your robot game over this off-season, I highly recommend watching some of the other tutorials on my channel, like this one. These tutorials offer great ways for teams to improve their coding skills in the off-season, giving more advanced programming tutorials through complex use of sensors and other things your team's already probably using. So give some of my other videos a watch, and good luck to your team in FLL Unearthed.